Okay, so my name is Eddie. Everybody calls me Eddie. If you call me Edward, I know that you're a new person and you don't know me. So I just stick to Eddie. So today we are talking about from idea to MVP, what founders get wrong about product market fit. Okay, so ideas. I know there are a lot of people here that have brilliant ideas, a lot of ideas in their notebooks and everything, and they want to actually kind of build them. What's the hard truth about ideas? So ideas are easy to get, right? The fact that you have an idea doesn't mean somebody else cannot have that idea. But the only way for you to be able to, reach MVP fast is to be able to kind of build a simple version of your app, right? Even if it is a manual version of your app, even if it is powered by Excel, right? So every founder thinks the idea is very special, and every founder thinks that the idea, nobody has, thought of their idea before. You hear that they want to be able to solve cross-border payments. They want to be able to build a new thing in town, right? But then somebody else has already thought about it. Ideas, you start with the problem, you have to validate them very early, and then also you have to try and build them later. What are some of the mistakes that founders get wrong? They fall in love with their idea, right? And not, the problem they are trying to solve, right? Some people don't really care about the problem. What they care about is the idea. So sometimes you see some founders trying to build an app, or maybe they've even built an app and then they'll now start wondering where they are going to get customers. And they've forgotten that they themselves are even the first customer of that idea. Another problem that the founders always get wrong is spending a lot of time trying to build the idea, trying to put up the best UX, trying to put up the best. Who here remembers the first version of Windows? Windows 98, Windows 95. Those were not very good UXs. Those were not very good UI. In fact, most of us had to do most of the things from a command line, right? But now you can do a lot of things from the UI because they had iterated over it. So building an app from 6 months to 12 months does not mean that users will automatically jump on board. The third thing is they don't talk to customers. They are trying to impress their investors because maybe that's where the money is going to come from, right? So instead of you trying to impress your customers and trying to talk to them and find their pain points so that you can solve them, what they do is that they try to sell the app to their investors, take money from their investors, and then, basically they lose traction along the line. Founders often confuse MVP with the full product. Now, don't forget, you're not building a full product. You are trying to validate an idea that you have gotten, right? What you're trying to do is, okay, I have this idea. I want to be able to help people maybe list their items, right? From my store or from any other store so that they can use it, right? Maybe I don't want them to sign up. I don't want them to do anything. All I want them to do is to be able to list their products and then people should just buy, right? Maybe even send a link via WhatsApp. I don't want to go through all this WooCommerce thing, set up a whole page. Maybe that's your idea, right? What you want to do is, you want to build the minimal version of it, put it on a very cheap server and see whether people actually love it. So you actually solve the actual problem before actually building more features on top of it. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to build those features. You're going to do them, but then what you're going to do is you're going to test the core problem to see whether there's something there before you actually go ahead to actually build the entire feature or the entire product. Now, what an MVP is not. It's not the 10 features or the 100 features that you have on your app. I know everybody here wants to build a super app. Everybody says, I want an app that does everything, that does cars, that does this, that does that. I want people to come to my app and not leave to another app. So what they now try to do is they try to munch everything into one app, and then basically what they fail to see or what they fail to do is to validate the core reason why they are building that app in the first place. I quite remember when we started Bitnob, what we did was we sent out a questionnaire because we're stuck between building a self-custody Bitcoin app and then something that the users can manage their keys themselves, right? But when he sent a questionnaire out, we realized that people didn't really care about their private keys like that, right? People wanted to be able to just buy Bitcoin whenever they want to buy Bitcoin and then be able to, spend and move money out. They didn't really want to know the technical details. I mean, there were people that wanted to know the technical details, but then there was people that didn't want to know. The initial set of people that we built this app for was people that didn't want to know. So we had our customer base. We know that, okay, this is what they wanted because of the questionnaires that we sent out. And then we built it tailored to those people, right? So an MV is not the features, a lot of features that you think is the best. I mean, you have an idea because you're trying to solve a problem, but then you have to validate them first. A polished app, an MVP is not a polished app. I mean, US UI, very great, being intentional about things, even adding AI and all that. But then it moves you away from solving the actual core thing, right? So let's take WhatsApp for instance. I'm sure the first version of WhatsApp was not as clean as what we have today. The core principle or the core thing that they wanted to do is to move one message from one place to another person as fast as possible, almost like sending a text message back then, right? But then they wanted to make it as also cheap as possible, right? So that's what they validated. That's what they did first before adding WhatsApp status and everything. But then the basic thing that they wanted to do was be able to send message, and that's what they did first. So it's not a polished app. It can be, bad UX, everything. But then the problem that is solved is the main thing that you want to solve for. You want a perfect experience. Now, what's a perfect experience? Being able to know exactly what the user is going to think before they think it, right? Being able to help the app do what the app want to think before they think it. So that's not the core problem that you're trying to fix. The core problem that you're trying to fix here is their main problem. So giving them a perfect experience in your MVP is not the way to go. Or having a long time build. Building an app that will take, an MVP that will take more than 6 months to validate, just be able to validate it, I don't think it's the way to go. I think a few weeks, let's say maximum 2 weeks, you should be able to spin up an app, validate it in the market, even if it is your friends or classmates or workmates or whoever. I think you do it, you validate the market. If there's something there, you will know. So what is an MVP? Think of it as the simplest form of your app. So if all the features were stripped down, if all the US and UI was stripped down, right, what does your app do? What is the basic thing, or maybe a one-liner sentence that your app do, right? Is your app an app that helps people to be able to send and receive Bitcoin? If yes, that's it. If your app is an app that helps people to be able to send messages just like WhatsApp or connect friends, right? Just like Facebook and the others, then that's what it is. You solve the basic pain for the customers. What's the misconception of product market fit? Like I said before, a polished app, a lot of downloads. Now, some people, when they get a lot of downloads, maybe because of an ad they ran on Twitter or something, they feel like that's a product market fit. But then, actually, that's not product market fit. The only way you can truly know whether you've achieved product market fit is to validate it over time, right? You need some way to be able to measure whatever thing that you have built, right? You need to be able to know that, okay, these people that have downloaded the app, they are actually coming back to coming to use this app, right? Now, hype. Maybe you have a lot of friends that can hype you on Twitter, on Facebook, but then maybe you want more users. So having an initial hype from the start doesn't mean that you've actually achieved product market fit. And also funding. You can get funding, as easy as possible. Maybe your friends, your family gives you money to be able to, help you build a particular app. But doesn't mean that just by that you have product market fit. You can even raise a lot of money and then you have still not achieved product market fit. You have heard companies where they've raised a lot of money, $22 million, and then they shut down in the next few months, and you start asking, why are they shutting down in these next few months? Some people did not even care about their users. They are not even going back to their customers to go and ask them whether what they are building is actually solving what. Sometimes they've even solved it, but then maybe the fees are just astronomical that when anytime their customers come, they can actually get it somewhere else, right, at a cheaper price. So those are some of the things that when you talk to your customers, you can find out. So as you can see, product market fit is your customers returning back without you having to remind them to come back every time, right? It's word of mouth. If you find out that your customers are the ones talking about your app to other people without you having to tell them to do that, that's you actually on your way to product market fit. Nowadays, you know about TikTok. There's no Chinese person that's come to Nigeria to come and tell people to come and download TikTok. I'm sure each of us here, one way or the other, has TikTok, and that's like product market fit, right? People complain about your products when you change something. So let's say, for instance, right now, if Instagram decides to move their button to add photos from where it is right now to another place, I'm sure all of us will complain because we are used to where it is, right? So that's what happens if you achieve product market fit. People are able to hack your product to do the other things that you didn't even intend the product to do, right? If you go to TikTok, Facebook, people are using Facebook for other things Facebook was created to connect people, right? But then they are using it for other things that you wouldn't think that Facebook or the founders of Facebook did not think that this thing would be useful. People were selling things on Facebook before Facebook even had a marketplace, right? So basically, this is them actually learning from the customers the power of Facebook, right? And then also, you struggle with demand. I'm sure there's a lot of engineers here. That's when you see that your servers, before, you used to use, let's say, a little memory, but now you need to increase the memory because your app cannot sustain the load that is coming anymore. So achieving product market fit, it feels like the product is the one that is pulling you forward instead of you trying to drive the product forward. So what happens when you achieve product market fit is that maybe you go to X, formerly Twitter, you see that people are actually telling people that, okay, have you used this? Have you used that? See that people are actually coming to you, okay, I heard that you are the one in charge of this product. How are you managing this? How are you doing this? You can see that now things that you didn't even think about, like fundraising, like, merchandise and all those. Now people are the ones that are actually coming to you. So it's almost like it's the product that is moving you from point A. It's the product that is dictating to you to move from the core product, hire more people to come to join the team to help you build your dream. That's when you can know that, okay, the product is actually achieving product market fit, because now the product is expanding more than you, even as a person. But without that, you know that you've not achieved that yet. How to actually reach product market fit? Step one is to actually have a narrow customer segment, right? So like I said before, Bitnob, when we started, we had a small group of people that we started with, that we sent questionnaires to. That was our samples population side that we started Bitnob with before we put it out to the masses. So I would suggest that before you actually reach product market fit, you actually start with a customer segment. You actually start with a small people. You don't just release your app into the world. This will actually help you to be able to understand some pain points, some things that you are not thinking about, even though it's your idea. So basically, you are trying to balance what the market actually needs and the idea that you conceived, right? Identifying the core pain. This first one also allows you to be able to identify the core pain, because now you are engaging with your customers, right? You are engaging with your users. So if you're engaging with your users, let's say you want to be able to send money, right? Now, maybe you had 10 steps because you wanted to, quote unquote, secure the way you are sending the money, right? But then your users did not want that. What they want to do is to be able to just take their phone and send money, right? Some people also want to be able to send money, let's say to the US, and then receive it that same day, even though it's not, like, in certain circumstances, it's not possible, right? But then you are trying to solve that thing for them. You speak to them, you understand their pain points, and then you solve it. If there's a way for you to be able to validate your MVP without even writing code, I think that's one of the best ways to actually do this, right? So for instance, cross-border payments. Right now, as we are here, it's very difficult for you to say that you want to send money from, let's say, Nigeria to Cameroon. payments do not move through Africa very smoothly, right? So let's say if you found a way for you to be able to do that, is this something that you can actually do manually yourself? Is it something that people even want before you even start writing code to solve that problem? Most of the things that we automate today, we are just automating the manual processes that we already had from before. And that's the same thing for products, right? So basically, you want to be able to validate whatever thing that you are doing without having to write any particular code or form or shape, right? Now, if you're able to do this, what basically means that there's actually a problem there that you are fixing. Another way is the willingness for your customers to actually pay, right? Now, fees, everybody hates fees, right? Except we know that whatever thing that the thing is fixing or the product is very, very crucial, and that's why you are going to pay fees. For instance, you want to send money to your mom. If your bank says that, okay, they are taking, let's say, 15 naira, I don't know if that's a lot of naira, but like 15 naira, right? I mean, you're going to pay because you want to send money to your mom, right? So that's product market fit, because you are willing to pay. So if people are willing to pay for your product, if people are willing to join a wait list for your product, then it means that they're actually achieving product market fit, or else that means that you are not. Build only the core. So just like from before, build only the core. The pain thing that you are trying to solve, just build it. Just forget about all the extra other things that you want to build, that all the ideas that you had, the problems that you are trying to solve. Just solve that problem, push it out there, give it to your customer segment, let them try it out and see how it goes before you decide to add all the features that you want to add. So the MVP, build less, learn more. Building products is a learning project, it's a learning path, right? From beginning to the very end. In fact, I don't know if there's an end. You learn all the way. It's learning, learning, learning. You are learning from when you are manually testing, when you are prototyping, when you are even building the functional MVP, and when you are scaling the product, right? You are learning. So most founders, right, start at level 4. You are trying to make sure that the product reach as many people as possible without having to validate. The less money you push into your MVP, the better. Because what you are trying to do is you are trying to see if there's something there before you even automate the entire process. Here are some red flags for you to know whether you have achieved product market fit or you are on the way to achieve product market fit or not. First, adoption. So if you are relying on telling people about your product yourself, right? Making sure that people are using it yourself without them actually coming to use it. That makes you know that you are not achieving product market. No retention, feature creep, adding features just to make your customers stick means that you are not achieving. Weak referral, people are not talking about your app very much. Your app is too broad. It means that when your product hits the market, right, they don't know exactly what your product stands for. There are too many things that they can do that they don't know the core problem that you are trying to solve, right? And then discount dependency. So basically, we talked about fees before. So if you have charged a fee, let's say maybe you are charging $1 for a particular service, but then the only way those people will come and use it is if you actually discount it and say, okay, I'm charging $1, but then for now, I'm going to charge you 50 cents or 20 cents just for you to come and use the product. And that's the only time that people come to use the product. Then it doesn't mean that you're achieving product market fit. Product market fit is only achieved when you have like very organic growth, high retention rates, you have clear value, right? Strong referral, focused niche, and then the willingness to pay, which is a very strong part. I always say that if you are building a product and you know that you are going to charge money, charge it from the beginning, right? Make sure you're charging from the beginning so that people that are going to use it know that this is not a free service, this is something that you are going to charge, so that they already know. Because when you don't charge and then you start charging afterwards, they'll now be skeptical about it. This is a framework that you can use to be able to get to product market fit. First of all, your problem. What problem are you solving? Right? Which is your idea. So you have the idea, but that idea, what problem exactly is it solving? Right? Build your first MVP. Building your first MVP should not take you more than 2 weeks to build. Anything that takes you more than 2 weeks to build is not really an MVP. It means that you're adding too many features, except probably maybe you're doing something very different. Get results fast, right? There's results and then there's effort. The fact that you have put in too much work doesn't mean you've had any results. So people love read stories and then they make your talk memorable. So what's the real secret in building MVPs? Customers, right? Founders don't like talking to their customers, especially when they are building their MVP. So what happens is that because they have the idea, they feel like they are the one that have all the answers. So they don't go back to their customers and then even talk to them and see okay, this is what I'm building. Is this something that you think that works for you? Is this something that you think that when you use, it actually solves one part of your problem? You don't talk to customers to find out all these things. So the real secret is to be able to talk to your customers, be able to find out their pain points and see what the balance you can create or whether your idea actually meets in the middle, right? Or whether you are solving their real problem. It can even be 10 people, it can be 20 people, it can be 30 people. But then the real secret is to be able to build with your customers and for your customers. The engineers here, stop hiding behind code. Don't feel like you are the best engineer in this world. So the only thing you are going to be doing is just crunch code all night, all day, and think that when your product comes to the market, people will start magically adopting it. It doesn't work that way. Not build in isolation. I've seen nowadays that people are actually doing that. Anytime they are trying to build something, they try to hype it up on Twitter, they get their friends to hype it up on Twitter, that's from a new X and all that, before actually pushing it out there, trying to get some bit of traction before putting it out there, which is a good thing to do. Perfecting screens, making your screen so beautiful and all that. I mean, it's good if you can do it in the short limited amount of time that you have before you test the idea, is good. But then what you want to do again is to build the main thing and then make sure that you are solving the core problem. Trust me, people will use it like that before you even try to make it so beautiful, especially if it is solving their problem. People don't really care about whether the screen was nice or not. They only care about whether the screen is nice when they feel that, okay, this is solving my problem, but then maybe it's taking too much time for it to fix my problem or something. If you're able to guessing what people want, it means that you are the one that is now thinking for people, right? Instead of the people telling you that, okay, this is what I want. I mean, it's not everything that they tell you is what you do because you have an idea and it's your idea, right? But then, if you're the one guessing everything for your customers to be able to build for them, that's not something that you should be doing. What you want to do is to be able to talk to your customers very early, build with them from the ground up, right? Test, make sure that they are paying from the ground up. Like I said, once you start, you charge, very important. Improve fast and then always try to follow the data. Gather as much metrics as much as possible, gather as much data as much as possible, make sure that everything is being recorded, and then you follow the data, follow the patterns, and make sure you understand all these things. So what's the path forward? So like we said before, idea, getting the idea, validating the ideas that you have as fast as possible, creating an MVP, going to product market fit, and then from there, that's when you will know whether you want to hit scale or not. What building startup is really about? Building startup is actually about understanding what you are doing. A lot of founders build some things that they don't care about. It's just an idea that they have, a thought that they have, and they started building it. They don't really care about the problem they are facing. It doesn't really even solve any problem for them. They just build it because they feel like there's something there and then they start building it. And because of that, sometimes they can feel willfully. But if you're building something that you as a person care about, if you're building something that you as a person, you know that this thing is actually solving my problem. So that's what leads us to the second. If it's solving my problem, then it means that there's actually something there to pursue. Also, like I said again, customers. You are creating value for real people with real needs. So without your customers, your app is nothing. It's not investors, it's not you yourself, it's customers. It's better to have an app that customers are the one paying, maybe even let's say if you are charging fees and it's the fee that you are using to pay for your your salaries and everything, it's better than having investor money, a lot of money, right? So having customers is very, very crucial. So what are the key takeaways here? Start with the problem that you are solving. So the idea, you have the idea, but then make sure that your idea is actually solving a problem. Like I said here, ideas are cheap, but then painful problems that you solve are the gold that you need to go for. Validate before you build. So that's what I'm saying. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, make sure you build something small, take it out there as, you know, as bad as it's bad. Take it out there. Make sure that people are able to use whatever thing that you've built to solve a particular need. So for instance, when we were building our Lightning network, right, there was not much information there, right? But then what we needed to do, what we knew back then, that we wanted people to be able to have access to Lightning network in Africa, especially in Nigeria, because there was a lot of Bitcoin apps out there, but there was not a lot of Lightning apps out there. But then people were enjoying Lightning, sending money very fast over the chain, and then there was nothing there. But what we did was that we were able to build 2 features for Lightning: just send and receive. Are you able to send? Are you able to receive? These are the only 2 things we built. We pushed it out there to the customers. They loved it before we started building new features on top of Lightning. And today, we have more than 5 or 6 features on top of Lightning, right? So everything that has to do with Lightning addresses, Lightning URL, send globally, like he mentioned, and everything, is built on top of Lightning. And that was because we built the fundamental. We built the first thing, right? Tested it, made sure that people loved it, solved a particular problem that people wanted, and then we build on top of it. Build the minimum, the very minimum, not everything, just the small thing that you need for customers or for your users to be able to solve that pain point that they need. Customers, talk to your customers constantly. Make sure that you are building with them. Make sure that you are with them always, building for them and then with them. And then that's the only way you can scale. And when scale happens, nobody will tell you that scale has happened. You will know, because the demand will be so high that you'll be forced to scale, right? So remember this, the market does not care about your idea. It's just unfortunate that you are the only person that actually cares about your ideas. The only thing that they care about is that problem. Everybody has their own problem. Maybe today you want to send money to Canada, you want to send money to the US, you want to pay your hospital bill in the US. That's your problem. So if somebody has an idea to be able to send money to the US, but then it takes 5 days, I mean, it doesn't solve your problem because you are paying a medical bill. So maybe you just look for somebody that can send it maybe in 2 days or in 1 day or even instantly, right? So the only way you can know this is by talking to your customers and listening. Go build something that matters. Go build something great. Make sure you validate them. Make sure you are building the minimal thing as much as possible. If it is manually that you are going to test it, make sure you are building it as fast as possible. And then let the market guide you. Push it out there. Talk to people, a small set of people. You can even do better testing. You can lock it. Just make sure that the people that are testing it are actual people that are going to actually help you fix the problem. So let's go out there, build our ideas, make sure that we are talking to customers. So, an operating system. So I think, yeah, at the end of the day, you are still building for people, right? So if you are building an operating system, it depends on whether it's a closed source operating system or you want to make it an open source operating system. Now, if you are leading with the latter, it means that what you are doing is you are going to have a lot of developers that you are going to build with. They are also going to validate your idea, right? Because it's a very big project for an OS, what you want to do is to actually, your customer base from the start will not be end users, will not be customers, will actually be developers that are actually buying into your idea. Take the Linux framework, for instance, right? When Linus Torvalds was building it, a lot of people that were actually helping build that product were not doctors, were not nurses, were not your market women. They were developers that actually understand what's going on. Were developers that actually understand the kernel, the OS, right? So those are the people that will help you validate what you are building before it becomes something that users can use. So you need to be able to understand your customers and know that, okay, this is the people that, even Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin started, it was not for you and I. Well, maybe me, but like, it was not for market women and all these people. Now, we have people buying Bitcoin that they don't know even the underlying layer of Bitcoin, right? So now, the people that understand the underlying layer, you build with them, especially the technical guys, you build with them. You make sure they are able to validate the things that you are building, everything that you are doing, and you can start from there. Then you get to your chance where now most of the thing will be abstracted, and then you get to build new interfaces on top of it and everything. And that's when you get normal users to come and use it. So your first customer segment will be developers, unfortunately, because of how technical and how broad your scope is. For me, I think you should charge, right? At least for me, right? No matter how small. Well, it depends on the app you are building, just like you said. If it is a subscription-based app, what are they subscribing to, right? Okay, let's take, for instance, Eden Life. There's no way you can start without making users charge. Where are you going to get the money from? Is it the money that you raised? Is it your pocket money that you're going to use it for free, right? Maybe you start on a discounted fee or something, right? Maybe because there's already a market for it out there, right? Let's say stable coins, they are on-chain fees already. How are you going to start a stablecoin product and not start charging? Who is paying for those fees? Now, Tron fees are very, very expensive, right? Okay, maybe base fees are cheap, but then there's still a fee. Who is going to take care of all those fees, right? So, I mean, it depends on what you are building. If you think that it's something, even if you are running it on a server, even if it's a $5 server, there's still some fee somewhere. So I think it's basically giving that notion to people that, okay, this thing is not for free. So it's just that idea, you're just imprinting that idea into people's head that, guy, I've built this thing, you are testing it out, and all those things, but at the other side, I'm also paying, and because of that, you're also paying this. Maybe you let them know that, okay, what you are paying is not the real fee that you're supposed to be paying, it's slashed, but then at least they know from the beginning, from the onset, that this thing is not for free. And then when they love it, they love it. They'll pay the fee regardless, because the fee you are charging, that's not what is not going to stop them from using the app if they love the app. So for me, at least that's for me. But if you feel like you can bear the fees and not charge, then that's fine. Okay, so let me just repeat your question, right? So you want to build something, but then you have already fallen in love with the idea. So how do you build something without falling in love with the idea? Is that your question?
Yes.
I think when you're building something, you should actually love what you are building, right? For the fact that you are building something that truly matters, doesn't mean you shouldn't love what you are building. Like I said before, founders don't care about their ideas, or founders don't care about some product that they build, right? And because they don't care about some of the product that they build, they are just building because there's already, let's say somebody has built money, let's say a stablecoin app. Now, he has said that, oh, stablecoin is like the order of the day. People are making money. Stablecoin is the future. And just because of that, somebody jumps on top of stablecoin and tries to build it. Now, he had the idea because a lot of people have already validated that market already. But they don't really truly care about the thing that they are building. You will fail because that sleepless night that comes with building something, with actually providing results, right? The only way you can actually achieve this is you having the ability to love that thing. That's the only thing that will make you wake up at night to work on it when everybody else is actually like, you know, resting or something. So you can't say you don't love it. You definitely have to love it. But then you have to also create a balance between what you are solving versus what you think that you love, right? Because you are thinking something else, but then the people that you are building for are also what? Having a different problem. So you need to be able to find that balance, learn more, iterate fast so that you can actually be able to solve this pain point for them. But you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. You can't say you can't love it.
Thank you very much, Ed. And I'll take the last questions now. The last person. Oh, there's somebody on this side. I'm so sorry. Please can we take somebody on this side? So you can always meet Ed after the session. There will be a time for us to talk properly.
Thank you very much. My name is Alabadi. I pretty much just came in. So my question has to do with this last slide, just like the other guy could be something about it. So my question exactly is, how do you know to either proceed or not when you have a certain idea and the market is, like validated, and it also feels as though whatever it is that you build is going to be going into a certain market that is already how do you call it, saturated. There's a lot of products. I mean, in Nigeria these days, there's a lot of fintech trying to ban the unbank. They're all doing everything together. So how do you exactly know to either pursue or just stand back? I just want to know that.
Yeah, so one answer, data, right? You are building, you are talking to your customers, you are gathering data, right? The only way you can know is to be able to understand the data you are gathering. Are people coming back? Are people actually using this app? Are people actually referring this app to other people to be able to come back and use this app, right? Especially if you have returning customers and the data proves that you have returning customers, right? That's actually an app that really matters, especially even if it goes beyond you actually being the one talking to people to come and use the app. So one word is data. Follow the data. If you follow the data will tell you everything that you need to know, right? It will tell you whether whatever thing that you are building actually matters or it doesn't, right? But if you don't follow the data, you will not know. So that's the only way you can know whether what you are building actually matters or not. I don't know whether that's clear. So it's an idea that you've gotten, right? Let's say you have an idea to build, let's say, a fintech. You want to be able to send money, right? Let's say stablecoin. Let me use stablecoin because it's the easier way, right? So you want to send stablecoin from point A to point B, right? But then you have a customer that says, okay, I don't want to send my money via stablecoin or using maybe stablecoin addresses. They want to use an email-like address, let's say all these Ether addresses or Lightning address, right? Now, you have to find out the balance, whether the problems that they are, or the features that are asking for actually falls within your idea. That's why you are creating a balance. Like I said before, you are creating a balance. So it doesn't mean you are going to shove the ideas away. I mean, you are listening, you are looking at what they have. So if you have two people that are asking for ideas, do they fall within the scope of what you are building? Is it a great idea? Do you think when you build it, is there market there, right? Do other people also want that same thing that these two people want? Or is it just these two people that want that thing that you are building? Okay, the first person that asked, let's say person A, what he said, does it align with other people or is just that person, right? And then it also follows with the other. So I think at the end of the day, you are trying to validate a market. How fast can you build this thing? Is it even cheaper to build? You have to consider all these things before you go ahead and then decide. By the end of the day, you'll still have to decide because even if you don't decide, you are still decided, right? So that's what I can say. At the end of the day, all feedbacks are welcome, but then the onus is on you to be able to actually decide what is what and then how those things that they've asked bridge into your idea. So that's basically it.
Just not for it. Thank you very much.